Hello everyone, my name is Joe and this is Hazel and welcome to Training is Blank. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the biggest challenges facing e-learners. Don't worry about the corgi, guys. Anyway, with so many people needing to make the shift to virtual training, I wanted to flip the script and seriously, guys, don't worry about the corgi. You know, I got all gussied up because my last episode was such a hit and I can't help but think that you're just staring at the dog. It's not fair. She's so much cuter than me. Hi everyone, so with COVID forcing just about everything to move to some kind of virtual training, I wanted to talk about focus in the e-learning world. The biggest benefit to training in person is the ability to respond in real time. I have my audience in the room, so I can hold learners accountable for not paying attention. When they're on the other side of a screen, I lose that benefit almost entirely. Now, this isn't to suggest that they are actively trying to not pay attention, but when you're looking directly at a screen, there's a lot going on in your peripheral vision that is impossible to ignore. Let's try something. Take a look at this slide. By now, you've figured out that I'm reading it word for word. With that in mind, answer the following question. What was the word in the bottom right corner? If you knew it was poodle, how? I didn't tell you to look there. You saw what I was reading, so you shouldn't have seen that, right? Unless you think viewers are this close to the screen, that's a rather ridiculous assumption. What isn't so ridiculous is saying that in the world of phones and Facebook, there is enormous competition to keep learners from looking at your content all the way through. I mean, I bet you have or have fought off the urge to turn away from even this video once or twice, and we're 2 minutes in, guys. I'm here to tell you it's okay. As someone who has created a lot of virtual content, it's okay. Expecting 100% viewing for every frame of every second of your webinar is a losing battle. And that's okay, as long as you can pull your viewers back when you want them to focus on the screen again. And today, I want to show you a few crafty ways to do that. So I'm going to discuss two of my favorites. The first one is to simply employ regular change on the screen. I go back to my peripheral vision theory. If you're focused on one thing and you see something change out of the corner of your eye, you instinctively turn towards that, as you probably just did. So if a learner is perhaps looking on a different screen or on their phone or something, a change they notice on your content will bring them right back, if even for an instant. I'll show you an extreme example. I'm going to read this to you. Follow along. I figure the engineers who built the all-new 09 F-150 are probably the same guys we all cheated off of in science class. We're thinking about pizza, they're thinking about aerodynamic wake properties. An important thing to acknowledge when reading text on the screen is chances are you can visually read something much faster than I can say it. And once you're done, you're ahead of me. But I've left you with nothing to do, and that's when I run the risk of your attention going elsewhere. Again, even for an instant. So let's take the same line that I just read, but I'm going to show you what Ford did with it.
I figure the engineers who built the all-new 09 F-150 are probably the same guys we all cheated off of in science class. We're thinking about pizza, they're thinking about aerodynamic wake properties.
The effect you just saw is called kinetic typography, and it shows off the power of movement. There's so much visual stimulation, it's hard to turn away from, even though the text is kind of boring, in my opinion. Also, in this, they've limited your ability to get too far ahead of them. By showing information in spurts, it's creating change on the screen that, again, you're instinctively turning back to. But the thing here is that it happens so fast that you just eventually stay on the screen. Now, in the case of kinetic typography, I'm not really saying use that. It is a lot of effort to do that, and you probably maybe take a little bit too much away from the learning experience, but I did want to show off the power of movement. So in order to kind of show this off a little bit better, let me flip the script really quick. Let's say you're watching a training and you see all of this show up at once. What do you as a learner do with this? Do you read it? Because I'm reading it, and chances are you're reading it faster than I am. Maybe you look at it and you take down notes, or you screenshot it, and that means you're ignoring my voice. What do you think that I, as the instructor, want you to do here? This is 2 minutes of nothing, assuming that I read it word for word. I don't even know what I want. So instead, what I'll do is I will present information in pieces. Encourage change to occur on the screen, and I'm also giving some direction of what I want you to focus on, which in this case is the area that just popped up. And now this one, and now this one. If you really want to rub it in, change the screen completely if you can. Seeing the same PowerPoint background with just text stacking over and over and over can also get kind of boring. Perhaps change the background color between slides, or if it fits, switch programs or go to a talking head, like this is a talking head, or switch to a wildly different layout. Embrace movement and change on the screen. Do it often, and keep an eye on what you want your learners to do. Do you want them to listen? Do you want them to read what's there? Maybe you want them to do both? Are you giving them too much or too little to focus on at once? Maybe that's when you throw in an animation, reveal more info. Keep me guessing as a viewer. It's not a bad thing here. My second favorite trick is one you've actually been hearing this entire video. It's an audible clue that I'm about to show you something I want you to look at. Again, I'm not assuming you're watching every single second of this, but if it's still on in the background, a little emphasis in my voice and a little tease or call to action will go a long way to getting you to glance back to see what I'm up to. Not sure what I'm talking about? Here, let me jog your memory. Take a look at this slide. Answer the following question. I'm going to read this to you, but I'm going to show you what Ford did with it. And you see all of this show up at once. The area that just popped up. Here, let me jog your memory. Let me invite you to the video experience. I know, you're already here, but I'm going to keep re-inviting you because that's how I can compete against the cat videos, the Twitter feeds, the conversations that pop up from coworkers, the what's going on with my email, all that stuff. Also to know, I picked my battles. I'm not cueing you in to when a new word shows up. That'd be half my script.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Hey.
I'm kind of hoping that everything I talked about a minute ago covers that anyway. But as far as a backup for those key concepts, that's when I offer the tease or use the verbal hints. If I need to fight to get your undivided attention, which I most likely do, and again, that's okay, I'm probably only going to get it for a limited time. So I need to use that time wisely. Let me show you an example. Take a look at this. Answer the following question. Something important is about to happen. In my outline, this was its own item kind of stuff. Because if you can walk away with those things, even if it's just 2 out of the 10 minutes that we were spending together, I feel like I did my job. And if it was interesting enough and you missed it, well, that's what the play bar is for. Please rewind, and we'll try this again. To recap, when dealing with e-learning, the world around them is constantly competing for your viewers' attention. You probably won't win 100% of the time. And that's okay. But there are 2 easy ways that you can compete. Number 1, employ regular change on the screen. The more dynamic, the better, but make those big changes really have purpose. Noticing something new out of the corner of their eye will get the viewer to instinctively glance back at the content. Maybe not that fast. But use that to your advantage. Also, be conscious of those times when there's nothing visually stimulating for the learner. It's going to happen. Perhaps try showing content in pieces to help out with that. Number 2, embrace audible clues and calls to action to let your viewers know when something important is about to occur. Personally, I'm against making it blunt, like on the next slide, I'm going to show you an example of the product in action. No, let the learners discover that on their own. Something like, take a look at this. It's really all you need. Let me show you. It's short, it's sweet, and it's hard-hitting enough that if you're listening in the background, I've given you a strong cue to come back and pay attention for a bit. But also, use that power wisely. I like it for key concepts and examples, saying, here's the next bullet. Every time there's a new line of text is just going to annoy everyone, including you.
Hey! Listen! Hey! Listen! Hey!
So be strategic. And there you have it. Training is jealous. It demands attention. But for e-learning, you gotta put a little bit extra in nowadays. These are just 2 of my favorite tricks. There are many more, and I will cover some of them in future episodes, along with so many other things. So if you like what you're hearing, or have some ideas on what I should cover, please let me know. And of course, like, share, subscribe, find me on Facebook, and check out trainingisblank.com for everything else I'm up to. I am looking at doing a product video at some point as well, like what I did with brand coordination in Camtasia. I'm thinking about trying out Canva. I just learned about it, but if there's something you'd like me to explore and talk about, let me know. I missed my chance with TechSmith's Audiate, and it's not really worth the price of admission in my opinion, but I'll pick it up for a month if people really want to see that and my review. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Hey, you made it this far. Want a fun production tip on how you get a dog to go crazy after your neck? Pepperoni. Collar. Rest just takes care of itself. Anyway, a little weird though, but see you next time.